The harmful effects of the media in recent years have made many people believe that Queen Elizabeth II only has 4 grandchildren: Prince William, Prince Harry, Princess Beatrice, and Princess Eugenie, because they are always the ones dominating the headlines. However, the number of the Queen's grandchildren is much greater than that. The reason they are not known to the media is that they rarely appear in public and always tend to live a quiet life. Typical of this choice is the Queen's youngest grandson, James Viscount Severn. He is now 14 years old and has a strangely peaceful life that many royals wish for. Let's explore his special life. You may not know this, James. Viscount Severn holds a unique position within the British royal family as the youngest child of Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, and Sophie, Countess of Wessex. His birth brought a new generation of Windsor grandchildren into the royal fold, adding to the diverse and expansive family tree that spans several branches of the House of Windsor. To understand James's place within the royal hierarchy, it's essential to trace his lineage within the context of the British monarchy. Prince Edward, James's father, is the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. This places James in a position where he is a grandson of the Queen, rather than a great-grandchild like his elder cousins, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. The British royal family tree branches extensively, encompassing multiple generations and relationships that define its complex structure. James's immediate family includes his parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, and his older sister, Lady Louise Windsor. Lady Louise, born in 2003, precedes James in birth order within their family unit and shares the experience of growing up under the royal spotlight. Beyond his nuclear family, James is part of a broader constellation of Windsor grandchildren. His cousins include the children of his aunts and uncles, Peter Phillips, Zara Tyndall, Princess Beatrice, and Princess Eugenie. Each of these cousins brings their own contributions and presence to the royal family, whether through public engagements, personal endeavors, or familial bonds that strengthen the Windsor lineage. In fact, James was granted the title of Viscount Severn when he just was born. This title was chosen by his parents and approved by Queen Elizabeth II. Normally, as grandchildren of the monarch through a son, Prince Edward, James and Louise would be styled as princes and princesses and entitled to the honorifics of His or Her Royal Highness, HRH. However, Prince Edward and Sophie opted for their children to be known by courtesy titles instead. Courtesy titles, as defined by Collins Dictionary, are titles that have no legal significance but are borne by the children of peers or other prominent individuals as a mark of respect or tradition. In the case of James and Louise, the courtesy titles Viscount Severn and Lady Louise Windsor indicate their status as children of an earl. Prince Edward holds the subsidiary title of Earl of Wessex. The decision to use courtesy titles was a strategic one by Prince Edward and Sophie. It allowed their children to have a more private upbringing and reduced the public scrutiny that often accompanies HRH titles. Sophie, Countess of Wessex, explained their reasoning in an interview with the Sunday Times, stating, "We try to bring them up with the understanding that they are very likely to have to work for a living. Hence, we made the decision not to use HRH titles." This approach aligns with their desire for James and Louise to have as normal a childhood as possible while still being part of the royal family. James enjoys a privileged upbringing at Bagshot Park, a historic royal residence located in Surrey, just 30 miles outside of London. This magnificent estate has been home to Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, since their marriage in 1999. Bagshot Park holds a significant place within the Crown Estate, a portfolio of properties owned by the British monarch and passed down through generations. Its history traces back to Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught and Strathearn, who previously resided there, adding to its royal lineage and prestige. As one of the grandest royal residences, Bagshot Park is valued at an estimated $30 million, reflecting its luxurious stature. The estate boasts an impressive 120 rooms, offering ample space and grandeur fit for royal occupants. Despite its size, the Wessex family primarily occupies a portion of the estate, as Lady Louise Windsor, James's older sister, often resides at St. Mary's School in Ascot for her education. Living at Bagshot Park provides James with a unique environment characterized by rich history, elegant surroundings, and comforts befitting his royal status. The estate's expansive grounds and architectural splendor offer a picturesque setting for family life, blending tradition with modern amenities to accommodate the Wessex's lifestyle. For James, growing up at Bagshot Park means experiencing the daily rhythms of royal life amidst a backdrop of heritage and refinement. The estate serves not only as a private residence but also as a venue for occasional royal events and gatherings, connecting the family to their royal duties while providing a sanctuary away from the public eye. The Wessex's choice of Bagshot Park as their primary residence reflects their commitment to balancing their royal responsibilities with the desire for a stable family life. It's a place where James can grow up surrounded by history, culture, and the supportive presence of his parents, who are dedicated to raising him and Lady Louise in a nurturing and grounded manner. Upon his birth, James was initially placed 8th in line to the throne, ahead of Lady Louise, who was then 9th. This positioning reflected the traditional system of male primogeniture, where male heirs took precedence over their female counterparts regardless of birth order. This practice, deeply rooted in royal succession, ensured that sons inherited titles and properties ahead of their sisters. However, significant changes to the succession laws altered James's position in the royal hierarchy. In 2013, the Succession to the Crown Act was amended to abolish male primogeniture within the British monarchy. This historic change meant that succession would now be determined purely by birth order, without regard to the sex of the child. As a result, Princess Charlotte, born in 2015, became the first female royal in line to the throne ahead of her younger brother, Prince Louis. For James, this legislative amendment meant a shift in his position within the line of succession. He moved down the line as new royal babies were born, and the rules of succession were redefined. Currently, James stands as the 14th in line to the throne, following his father, Prince Edward, who himself is the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. James's adjusted place in the succession order reflects a broader effort to modernize and equalize the monarchy's inheritance rules, aligning with contemporary values of gender equality and fairness. Despite his descent in the line of succession, James remains a member of the royal family with a symbolic connection to the throne, albeit increasingly distant from the immediate line. There is a truth. In 2008, Premier Gary Doer of Manitoba, Canada, presented Prince Edward with framed notices announcing that both of his children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Viscount Severn, had lakes named after them in the province. These lakes are situated in the remote northwestern Manitoba, close to the border with Nunavut. This unique gesture underscores the special relationship between the British royal family and Canada, a Commonwealth realm where the Queen served as the head of state until her passing. The lakes named after James and Lady Louise are more than just geographical features. They symbolize the enduring ties and mutual respect between Canada and the United Kingdom. For James, the lake named in his honor represents a legacy of international recognition, a rare and remarkable gift marking his place in the world. Despite being only 5 months old at the time, the young Viscount Severn was already accruing significant honors that set him apart from other children. The naming of a lake in James's honor also speaks to the royal family's broader tradition of commemorative gestures and symbols of goodwill. Such honors are often bestowed to acknowledge significant ties, celebrate royal milestones, or honor distinguished individuals. For James, this early accolade is a testament to his family's standing and the esteem in which they are held globally. Although James has not made many public appearances and has likely never visited his namesake lake in Canada, the significance of this honor remains. As he grows older, the story of the lake will likely become a cherished part of his personal and family history, a symbol of the international recognition and respect accorded to him from a very young age. It's often said that grandparents have a special bond with their grandchildren, a relationship that is unique and cherished on both sides. For Queen Elizabeth II, this bond was particularly strong with her youngest grandchildren, James, Viscount Severn, and Lady Louise Windsor. According to sources, the Queen had a special affection for these two, often referred to as her favorite grandchildren. While it's natural for younger grandchildren to receive a bit more doting, in the case of the Queen, this preference was slightly tilted toward Lady Louise over her brother James. The affection the Queen had for James and Lady Louise can be attributed to various factors, not least of which is their status as the youngest of her grandchildren. The youthful energy and innocence they brought into her life during her later years were likely a refreshing contrast to the more mature concerns of her older grandchildren. It's often said that grandparents have a special bond with their grandchildren, a relationship that is unique and cherished on both sides. For Queen Elizabeth II, this bond was particularly strong with her youngest grandchildren, James, Viscount Severn, and Lady Louise Windsor. According to sources, the Queen had a special affection for these two, often referred to as her favorite grandchildren. While it's natural for younger grandchildren to receive a bit more doting, in the case of the Queen, this preference was slightly tilted towards Lady Louise over her brother James, via the son. The affection the Queen had for James and Lady Louise can be attributed to various factors, not least of which is their status as the youngest of her grandchildren. The youthful energy and innocence they brought into her life during her later years were likely a refreshing contrast to the more mature concerns of her older grandchildren. Prince William and Prince Harry, now in their 30s and 40s, had long grown past the age of needing doting attention, and their relationships with the Queen had naturally evolved into ones of mutual respect and admiration. Their early years were filled with public and private moments with the Queen, especially given that King Charles III was her firstborn and their father, which ensured they had ample time to bond with her. James, Viscount Severn, born in 2007, and his sister Lady Louise, born in 2003, provided the Queen with an opportunity to experience the joys of young grandchildren once more. Their presence at family gatherings and official events brought a sense of continuity and youthful exuberance to the royal family. Lady Louise, in particular, was often seen as a confidant and companion to the Queen, sharing interests such as equestrian pursuits and often participating in royal engagements alongside her grandmother. James, although perhaps not quite as prominently favored as his sister, also held a special place in the Queen's heart. His quieter demeanor and the fact that he was the baby of the family likely endeared him to her in many ways. The Queen's visits to Bagshot Park, where James and Lady Louise lived with their parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, were occasions filled with family warmth and togetherness. These visits provided the Queen with precious moments away from the public eye, allowing her to simply enjoy the company of her youngest grandchildren. There is one thing that few people know: just because he is a member of the royal family doesn't mean James, Viscount Severn, is exempt from getting a proper education. Despite his royal status, James, like any other child, attends school and is expected to meet academic standards. The Earl and Countess of Wessex's son has been attending Eagle House School, located near Sandhurst in Berkshire. This prestigious institution is known for its rich history and academic excellence. Eagle House School is one of the oldest preparatory schools in the country, having been founded in 1820 by Joseph Railton. Initially established as an all-boys school, it transitioned to a co-educational model in 2005, opening its doors to both boys and girls. This change was part of a broader trend among traditional British prep schools to adapt to modern educational standards and provide a more inclusive environment for all students. The Wessexes pay a tuition fee of $18,000 a year for James to attend Eagle House. This significant investment in his education reflects the family's commitment to providing their children with the best possible start in life, regardless of their royal status. The school offers a rigorous academic curriculum alongside a wide range of extracurricular activities, ensuring that students receive a well-rounded education. During the COVID-19 pandemic, like many schools around the world, Eagle House had to adapt to remote learning. This sudden shift posed challenges for students, parents, and teachers alike. However, James seemed to adapt well to the new format. In an interview with Sky News, Prince Edward mentioned that his son found the experience of attending virtual classes quite enjoyable. "My younger one frankly thinks being at home and online is fantastic," he said, highlighting James's positive attitude towards the change. Prince Edward also acknowledged the difficulties that came with the disruption of normal routines. "I have to say the half-term came at just the right time because it was very interesting the frustrations that were beginning to show," he explained. This sentiment echoed the experiences of many parents who had to manage their children's education and well-being during the pandemic. As Eagle House School only caters to students between the ages of 3 and 13, James, now 14, has likely transitioned to a new school for his continued education. However, the specific institution he currently attends has not been publicly disclosed. Given the family's emphasis on privacy and security, it is understandable that such details would be kept confidential. James's education, much like that of his sister Lady Louise Windsor, is a priority for the Earl and Countess of Wessex. Both parents are keenly aware of the importance of a solid educational foundation, not only for academic success, but also for personal development. This approach aligns with their broader parenting philosophy, which aims to balance royal duties with a semblance of normalcy for their children. The choice of Eagle House School reflects the Wessex family's values and aspirations for their children. The school's long history and reputation for excellence make it an ideal environment for nurturing young minds. Moreover, the school's emphasis on a holistic education, which includes sports, arts, and community service, aligns with the royal family's commitment to public service and personal growth. Do you know that James received diamond and platinum medals from the Queen? During Queen Elizabeth II's vigil, James, Viscount Severn, made a rare public appearance that caught the attention of many observers. The young royal, standing solemnly alongside his family, wore a distinguished set of medals on his chest. These medals, the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal and the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal, were gifted to him by his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II. James received the Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2012, commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Queen's accession to the throne. This medal was awarded to members of the royal family and other notable figures in recognition of their service and dedication. In 2022, James was also awarded the Platinum Jubilee Medal, celebrating the unprecedented 70th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. These medals are symbols of a significant family legacy and milestones in British history. Despite the ceremonial nature and tradition behind these awards, the sight of a 14-year-old adorned with medals sparked a mix of curiosity and criticism from the public. Social media buzzed with comments and questions. One Twitter user remarked, "A 14-year-old grandson of the Queen has 2 medals. Please explain." Another comment read, "Amazing how many medals a 14-year-old can be awarded if they belong to the right family." These reactions highlighted a common misconception about the nature of royal medals and the roles of young royals. The confusion likely stemmed from James's relatively low public profile. Unlike some of his royal cousins, who are frequently in the media spotlight, James has made few public appearances. This lack of visibility led to surprise and skepticism when he was seen wearing the medals. For many viewers, it was their first time seeing James in such a formal and significant context. Understanding the purpose and significance of these medals helps to clear up the confusion. Jubilee medals are not awarded for personal achievements, but are given to commemorate the Queen's significant anniversaries. They are traditionally awarded to members of the royal family, military personnel, and public servants as a mark of honor and celebration of the Queen's reign. The question now is, can James be the next Earl of Wessex? Though his chances of ascending to the throne are slim, James, Viscount Severn, stands on the cusp of potentially gaining a significant new title in the near future. The young royal, currently 14th in line to the throne, could soon transition from Viscount Severn to Earl of Wessex, a title currently held by his father, Prince Edward. This potential change hinges on the possibility of Prince Edward inheriting the title of Duke of Edinburgh, a title previously held by his father, Prince Philip. The title of Duke of Edinburgh carries substantial historical and familial significance. Traditionally, sons and grandsons of the reigning monarch received the title of Duke at birth. However, in the case of Prince Edward, this tradition was set aside in favor of a more unique title. Upon his marriage to Sophie Rhys-Jones in 1999, Prince Edward was created Earl of Wessex, a title he specifically requested. The story behind this request is quite interesting. A royal courtier revealed to the Telegraph that Edward was originally intended to become the Duke of Cambridge, a title later given to his nephew, Prince William. However, after watching the film Shakespeare in Love, which featured a character called the Earl of Wessex, Edward found the title appealing and asked the Queen if he could have it instead. Should Prince Edward inherit the Duke of Edinburgh title, it would be a continuation of the royal tradition and an honor reflecting his father's legacy. This transition would not only elevate Prince Edward, but also result in a cascading effect on his family's titles. James, Viscount Severn, would then become the Earl of Wessex, a significant step up in rank and a reflection of his growing responsibilities within the royal family. Meanwhile, his mother, Sophie, currently the Countess of Wessex, would become the Duchess of Edinburgh, further enhancing her standing and role within the monarchy. As James approaches adulthood, an intriguing possibility looms on the horizon: the adoption of the title His Royal Highness, HRH. This title, steeped in centuries of tradition, represents a significant milestone and a mark of royal status. However, unlike many titles that are automatically conferred, the decision to adopt the HRH designation is a personal choice for the royal reaching the age of majority. When he turns 18 in 4 years, James will face this decision, a choice that has been available to royals since the early 18th century. The HRH title is not merely a formality. It carries with it a set of expectations and responsibilities, as well as a certain level of public scrutiny and privilege. The title HRH signifies a close connection to the reigning monarch and often entails a more active role in public and ceremonial duties. James's sister, Lady Louise Windsor, faced a similar decision when she turned 18 in 2021. Despite being entitled to use the HRH style, Louise chose not to adopt it. This decision may reflect the wishes of their parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, who have emphasized the importance of their children leading as normal a life as possible, given their royal status. Sophie has previously remarked on their approach to parenting, explaining that they have raised their children with the understanding that they are likely to have to work for a living and not rely solely on royal privileges. Louise's choice not to adopt the HRH title aligns with this philosophy, suggesting a preference for privacy and a more understated presence within the royal family. Whether James will follow in his sister's footsteps remains to be seen. At 14, he still has time to contemplate his future role and the implications of such a title. The decision will ultimately depend on his personal aspirations and the guidance of his family. Despite his rare public appearances, James, Viscount Severn, has been seen a bit more frequently in recent years. This shift reflects the delicate balance his parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, have struck between their royal responsibilities and their desire to provide their children with a normal upbringing. Sophie has been particularly vocal about her commitment to ensuring that both James and his older sister, Lady Louise Windsor, experience as ordinary a childhood as possible. Certainly, when they were very young, we tried to keep them out of it, only because for their sakes to grow up as normally as possible we felt was quite important, she explained to Hello magazine. This approach is rooted in the belief that a grounded upbringing will serve them well in the future. And they're going to have to go out and get a job and earn a living later on in life. If they've had as normal a start in life they possibly can get, then hopefully that will stand them in good stead. This philosophy is indeed humbling for members of the royal family, who traditionally enjoy lives steeped in privilege and public service. The notion of royals having to secure employment like ordinary citizens is a stark departure from the historical norm. Yet it underscores a modern understanding of royal life, where titles and duties coexist with personal growth and independence. Sophie has shared insights into the everyday lives of her children, painting a picture of a family that values simplicity and normalcy despite their high-profile status. She told The Times, "They go to friends for sleepovers and parties. At weekends we do lots of dog walking and stay with friends." This glimpse into their weekend routines reveals a family engaged in the same activities as many others, spending time outdoors, socializing with friends, and participating in community life. James's increasing visibility in recent years can be seen as a gradual introduction to his future responsibilities within the royal family. While his mother has emphasized normalcy, the reality of their royal status inevitably means that public appearances and engagements are part of their lives. This exposure allows James to acclimate to the public eye while maintaining a foundation of normalcy. What do you think about Queen Elizabeth's youngest grandchild? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.